Hey, good morning, everyone. It's been a while. I've been in evacuation mode and trying to save my life and my wife's life from this Hurricane Dorian. I was living in the southern tip of Florida, so that hurricane was directly headed our way. And good thing it passed, but please do pray for the North Carolina and the South Carolina state because I think it's headed over there. I know the Bahamas did get wrecked, so please do pray for them as well. And let's get to the BTC analysis, folks, right? I know it's been a while, so all right. Okay, so on the smaller time frames, okay, so what we see right now is basically a movement that we had, all the way from down here where we moved past this 95, 9600 resistance area, broke past the 9700 previous consolidation before the drop off right here to 9300, right, this area right here. Once we broke above that, we consolidated and then broke above. So we actually scalped this movement right here a couple of times. And right now, it looks like things are a bit more uncertain, and I'm going to try to explain you exactly my thoughts. Okay, so on the smaller time frames, on the 15-minute time frame, what we're really seeing is obviously, aside from this clear rejection right here of about 10,740, and over here this looks like basically a fake out SFP swing failure pattern, and then a breakdown, right? But the breakdown didn't create a lower low. So this sort of double top, that people would typically call, is not valid yet, because typically for the double top, this low has to be taken out. So once price breaks down here, that's where you can confirm the double top, okay? But that hasn't been the case yet. What price is really doing right now is this. Okay, this is a higher low on price. All right, so fairly positive sign. But then over here, it's done a couple of lower highs. Okay, now in this small region right here, as well as over here, this little area seems like the area to be watching. Okay, so once price breaks up above 10,700, let's just say, or I guess 10,710, let's just say, as per Bybit, then we can maybe expect more upside movement, at the very least towards 10,750 or so, and then beyond that we could expect, if we get past that, around 10,900 and maybe higher. But for now, I think we're really struggling in this area. Let me make this red. Okay, so we're really struggling in this area, and if we, as you can see, the candles are starting to get red. If we drop off lower, right, we need to take out this low first. Okay, so this would then create a lower low, and then especially to confirm this double top that I showed you, we need to take out this low right here, which is around 10,400. Now the interesting thing about this 10,400 marker, okay, let me pull up this chart. All right, here's that 10,400 marker. Okay, so we actually got in a nice long yesterday right here, nice scalp on this candle, this beautiful candle right here. Okay, so we basically bought the bottom right here, and we sold somewhere near the top around 10,700. We didn't get to catch this extra wick because really this was resistance, right? So if you're a trader and you're trying to be a good trader, it helps to understand one thing, which is that you'll never be able to know if price is going to do this or that, okay? But the great thing about trading is that you don't need to know, okay? So what I mean by that is, if you have enough technicals to support your hypothesis of what price could do, which is you have enough possibilities and probabilities laid on it, right? So in this case, I didn't know that price was going to bounce here. I just knew that this area right here, this green box, had, for the last, 15 days or so, or the last month, been bouncing off this level multiple times. So I figured at the very least it's going to bounce in this level. If not, I'll get stopped out, with my stop below it, right? Maybe I'll lose 1% or 2%. But the gain for that, especially on leverage, was, you know, a pretty high one, right? About I think 35 or 40% or so. Okay, so you could see that, you know, even over here, if I pull up our trades, this was that long that I mentioned. See, I got in around 10,420 and I got out somewhere around 10,600 or so. I didn't get to catch that extra move to 10,700 over here, but again, nonetheless, fantastic move, right? So that's really the thing about, you know, trying to be able to catch every trade, or, you know, being able to time things perfectly. First of all, it's not going to happen, but sometimes you'll get easy trades like this where you realize that price is bouncing, you know, very nicely off support, and you just need to step in as a buyer, not really catch the falling knife, but rather, you know, based on good technicals, especially with this, you know, descending sort of flag looking thing, as well as this support coming in around 10,400. This was a nice trade, right? Now, another thing that I was looking at is this ascending trend line on the 4-hour. I knew for the most part that at some point this trend line was going to get touched, and maybe we might bounce off it. And over here, when price was over here, it was, you know, kind of away from that trend line. So I figured, again, you know, the RSI is not giving me any, you know, signals of panic or anything just yet, right? Now, here's where things get interesting. On the 4-hour time frame, okay, I'm going to keep this analysis quick, but I want to get through it because I want you guys to understand exactly what's at play. For the last month, okay, month and a half actually, okay, from basically middle of July, from this, you know, breakdown all the way to this low, you know, this high right here to this low, this high, this low, you can see this has really created this trading range, okay, this trading range that you can see in this parallel channel right there, this sideways movement, right? So all price is doing is just really hovering sideways, all right? And so when you're hovering sideways like this, there's really no reason to get excited about price moving up or down unless one of these is broken, unless price is broken to the upside or broken to the downside. Now there's, you know, easy scalp opportunities like I just showed you earlier, right? The advantage community got in right here. Now there's always opportunities like that, but for the most part, price has not defined anything in terms of a trend just yet. What I do foresee happening though is if price does again bounce off this green box successfully and then takes out this 10,750 area on a 4-hour close, I would not be surprised price reaches the top of this area, the trading range in this red box, or overshoots it right here, okay, around 11,200 or 11,300. Okay, why? Because I think this would be a perfect way to be able to trap a lot of FOMO, you know, bulls right here. Okay, and also it would take out a lot of the stops that are, a lot of the stops on people who have shorted up here. So remember that the thing about trading and understanding price action is that price is, you know, almost always in search of of new liquidity. Which way has the least the path of least resistance, right? So in this case, when price was bottomed out, you know, the path of least resistance when people were uber bearish was up. When price gets all the way up here, right, when there's a lot of FOMO buyers, the easiest way to make them feel the pain is really to just drive the price down, right? So remember that, you know, the markets are constantly looking for liquidity, okay? And the easiest way to generate liquidity is, you know, to sort of lure in those amateur buyers, the FOMOers, or those who are trying to go 100x, you know, on any one direction, right? So with that being said, you know, personally, I think price could still make that pop up here, but I'm not quite certain yet because, you know, we're still under 10,750. We haven't closed above it. But we're also, you know, above this support right here. So we're really just in no man's land right here. So price could honestly break either way. In our community, you know, we're actually in a position right now which I don't want to disclose because one, it's not financial advice, and two, hey, it's a paid membership. That's what people pay for, right? But I did show you that, long trade like this right here. Most people will not post their positions, but I wanted to show you mine, some easy profits. And obviously you saw other people making profits, so it's not just me, right? So I've been hearing a lot of, talk and chatter on Twitter and all these people who have been sort of not delivering to their clients, right? So for example, people who are running sort of a paid membership like myself, I think, nowadays people like myself have the same stigma that, hey, we're running a paid group and, we're not delivering the results. Well, our results are right here. Our results are also in the community that we fostered, where we have, tons of paying members who are really happy with our membership, who are really happy with their subscription. Okay. So anyway, enough talk about that. The point is, folks, that, for the most part, this trading range right here could go either way. And for the most part, I personally think due to this double toppiness right here, it could potentially go down. But again, no confirmation just yet, right? So for now, I am in a small position. And if you want to know what that position is, come join. Okay. All right. So over here for our uncertain, right? So now let's look on the daily. Okay. Here's something interesting on the daily. Okay, daily topped with a doji right here. All right, right beneath that descending trend line that we're seeing of this big triangle. But another trend line has actually been created too for this and this and this. So remember earlier I said, around 11,200, 11,300 prices could actually top, get people to FOMO, right? So why exactly in that area? Okay, so first of all, that price could meet this trend line right here, bounce off this level and maybe in the next day or two, right? And then pull back down again. Okay, the best way to be able to trap people is to be able to essentially drive the price up here, get people to FOMO thinking that we've broken out of this trend line, only to sort of, be stuck under this trend line and then push back down. All right. So I think that would be the best way to make, people feel the pain. Here on the daily, right here, here's exactly where we got rejected by price. Notice this ascending trend line right here. Touch 1, 2, 3, 4, multiple times right here. And then finally the breakdown, and then, now we're facing that rejection right here, right? As you can see. So this is also a perfect way to be able to, sort of identify that here's another technical reason why we're dropping right here, okay? Or at least not dropping, but rather getting rejected and pulling back. Another reason is, look at how high the sell volume was going into this candle right here, okay? Oftentimes when the buy side, the demand volume has climaxed, right? Like right here, right here, right here, or even right here, once it's followed by a significantly high sell volume or even higher sell volume than the topping candle, like this, okay, typically it's led to a drop like this. See, after this high sell volume drop off, right? This high sell volume right here, drop off, and over here, drop off. Okay, so with that being said, the volume is already telling you that, hey, a lot of selling went into this because people probably FOMO'd up here. The reason the sell side volume gets high up here is because the FOMO is incited into this candle right here, because people are prematurely thinking that this is going to go back up to 13, 14, 15K, tomorrow or the day after, and they want to get in early, right? And so with that being said, this is why, the sellers who are really sort of creating this panic, creating this FOMO, get to sell while the hype and excitement is high. And so they sell into the retail excitement, and that's why you see this very high volume right here. Okay. Personally, I'm a bit scared in terms of, the sell volume stepping up so high. All right. And think that especially on the daily, like I said, if that 10-4 area breaks, I think we're gonna accelerate down pretty fast, in my opinion. And then with that being said, if that does break, I would say the next real area to watch is probably this area right here, 97, 9800. Okay, because I really don't see any strong supports in the way. I mean, there's this area right here. I guess we could bounce here again, but once this breaks, I think we're going to accelerate down really fast to 9800. And if that breaks, obviously, the 9300 low that we put in. Okay, but aside from that, for now, all we can assume is we're creating higher lows right here, right? Even with this trend line right here, I'm going to take this fib away. Okay, even with this trend line right here, sort of something like this. Okay, so those are your higher lows right there, and then this is sort of your trend line being met right now. Okay, so all we're really looking at is this right here. That's all we can say, right? For sure. So if this does break out to the upside, creates also a higher high as per this rejection that I mentioned earlier, this 10,700 or so, we could push back up towards 10,750, maybe 10,800, but really no confirmation just yet. Okay, on the weekly time frame, the weekly candle looks decent, but again, we still have about 3 days left in the week, and typically the back end of the week, which is the Friday coming up, Saturday and Sunday, oftentimes comes in with lesser volume, meaning that the majority of the movement has already happened at the beginning of the week. So say Sunday night, Monday, and at the very latest Tuesday, right? So now we're maybe on the tail end of that, and who knows, we might actually be pulling back and pulling down for that movement that I mentioned earlier. So that would imply that this weekly candle could close a bit lower. Okay. All right. Let's see. The RSI looks all right over here on the 30-minute time frame. I mean, consistent lower highs right here, and also just sort of being trapped in this trend line, something like that. Nothing nothing strong in terms of RSI movement. Still trapped under this descending trend line. We have been creating lower lows right here, as you can see, low, lower low, lower low, and lower high, lower high, lower high. So this really was a definition of sort of a mini downtrend on this time frame. But now we're creating higher low, higher low, higher low, and we're stuck in something like this. Okay. So if this does bounce here, like I said, right, if this does bounce right here and price pushes back up, look for that 10.8, 10.9 area, this red box right here, okay? Because this candle right here also does seem like a liquidity grab, and you don't push down this far deep to grab more liquidity only to just go up this much. And I mean, technically, if you do, this would be I guess a good area if you do break down a bit lower, you start closing under this candle, this would be the area to short. All right. Really not a whole lot else to cover right now. I'm gonna go more into detail tomorrow, but I wanted to create a quick analysis for y'all. Come join Cryptosomniac, folks. Here it is, cryptosomniac.com. Hit the products page right there. And if you buy the course right here, okay, you can get 7 free days to our Advantage membership, which are all the locked channels that you see. And this is our, bread and butter right here, which is our Advantage community, right? So this is where all the magic happens. A lot of our conversations, Jordan and myself are, really here all the time. And that's another thing that we provide in our paid group, which is that a lot of attention, a lot of sort of customer service, if you will, a lot of tweaking that you may require in terms of your trading style, answering your questions, answering little details about technicals and charting and trading and orders and etc., right? Risk management, more importantly. Okay, so I think that's one thing that we sort of pride ourselves on is, being attentive to our clients. Okay, So if you're not getting that, if you're not getting the kind of knowledge that we're providing, if you're not getting the kind of attention that you're provided from your paid community, if you are part of one, then come join Cryptosomniac. All right. Tons of analysis. I've been doing this for, now trading crypto for about a good 2 years now, and you can see all our videos are loaded up on YouTube. All our analysis is on TradingView. You be the judge. You be the judge. Come join our community and see if it's worth it. Okay. So with that being said, take care. Cheers, and I'll talk to y'all soon. All right.